Hello and welcome. So in this video, we'll be writing of course, HTML for this particular coding animation component. All right, so let's get started. And let me tell you guys, this will be a very big video. Not a very big video, of course, it will be a big video. So please try to concentrate, and it's a very important one. All right. So now let's start off by creating a div. All right, it's very simple. We just have to create a div and give a class name of parent coding. All right. So parent coding would be the whole this thing over here. So if I want to show you, it's actually very easy. So this thing would be section 2, the whole section 2 that we saw, and then inside it, we would have parent coding. The parent coding is nothing but the animation part, where it's not the animation part, it's the 3D part over here, right? So all right, so now that would be the parent coding. All right, so now we would need the left part, and we would have the right part. Left part is nothing but this particular square, I mean the rectangle. I don't know what this thing is. So let me just show you guys. All right, so let me just show you on this particular. So we have two parts, which is the left, right bottom, left bottom. All right, so I don't know what you can call it. You can call it a square or rectangle or whatever it may be. So now we have 4 parts. So let me just try and put those things. All right, so let me just. All right, cool. So now all right, so I'm gonna give a div of class name of left. All right, and just press shift alt and press down, so it will automatically copy paste the whole line. So this will be right, and this will be right bottom, and this would be left bottom. All right, cool. So now it's actually simple to understand about it now. So we'll be just coding the inside value. So basically inside this left part, we have 2 components, the first component and the second component. So I'm gonna show you real quick how it will be, just so that you guys would understand. And let me tell you, I'm not cheating by doing this thing. So whenever, as a React developer, whenever you're given designs on a Figma board or whatever it may be, you can pretty much see the CSS around it, as in the color palette, how it was made. Of course, it will be different when you implement it in HTML, but it will help you understand how it works. And if you are asked to make something that is already there on a different website, you can just do this what I'm doing. So this is something called developer tool. I wouldn't say cheating. So yeah, so just to make you guys understand how it is, so that is the reason I have used this thing. So inside the left, we would have something called left parent. All right, so inside the left parent, we would have the first component, that is text white component, and the other component, which does not have a class. So these 2 components should be there. All right, so now let's start off that and write the code for it. So of course, like I said, there would be a left parent. All right, and let me write class name left parent, and I'm gonna give this thing as display flex and flex column. All right, display flex is, of course, we are making the display as flex, and flex column would be the flex direction as column. All right, now inside it, we would be giving the upper heading, which is prompt. All right, so now I'm gonna give a div which will have a class name of text white, which is a bootstrap class, which will make the text color as white, and we'll be making the px as 3, padding on x-axis as 3, and upper heading is a custom class that we'll be writing after writing the HTML. All right, and inside this thing, I'm gonna give a span, which will have a class name of prompt. All right, I'm gonna write prompt over here. Okay, cool. So that's going well and good. And now inside it, we would be having the other part, which is px3. All right, span, and I'm gonna show you, you know, that I'm gonna write the, so basically I'll be showing you how I'm gonna write the CSS in the next video. So if you're feeling confused, don't worry about it. It will be, everything would be clear in the next video. All right, so max profile with k transactions. You can see this thing over here, this thing, and after that we would be having this particular skeleton section, the skeleton section. So if you can see this thing, the skeleton section is quite you know it has some randomness to it. So not gonna do that now, we'll do that afterwards. So let's move forward with the other part, which I basically want to tell you that the skeleton, there would be a skeleton section. So I'm gonna write after the span we would be having a skeleton section. All right, so yeah, let me just quickly write it off. All right, so now I'm not gonna put the randomness now, we'll do that later at the end of this section. I'm gonna give the class name of skeleton section, display flex column, because everything inside would be yeah, of course. So now after this thing, inside this thing we'll need to write the code for this thing. So now let's move forward, and then let's give some inside the same div, we'll be giving some space over here, which we'll need afterwards, class my2. All right, so now of course we cannot see that, so we'll do that afterwards, never mind. Now I guess we're pretty much sorted with the left part. So the left part is pretty much sorted, and now let's get to the right part. All right, right part is where we'll be writing it would basically have the same thing. So it will have a right parent. All right, so display flex column, and then over here we would be having the same thing again, text white part. So I hope that you can fast forward the video while I do the same thing, and if you do not understand, you can just copy and paste, follow me with it while I'm typing out. Then we would have the same thing, we would have the same span over here with the class name. Again, I'm gonna give the same class name that I've put over on the top, so I'm gonna give this thing as input. All right, cool. So now of course, if you can see this thing, both of these things are in the straight line. We'll fix that up, don't worry. We'll add display flex over here. We'll see how we can do it, or we can use CSS grids. We can see while developing it. All right, so now if you can see that, then we would right over here we would be having the the same thing over here, some randomness to this particular thing as well. So now I'm gonna do that the same thing over here. I'm gonna then we would have this skeleton that we saw before. I'm gonna give a class name of display flex column my2, and yeah, we are pretty much sorted with this part. Cool. Now yeah, I guess we're pretty much sorted with the right part. Now I guess we will just fall off and create the right bottom. So these two things were pretty much easy, and the right bottom would also be very easy. So of course we would have a parent class, and let me tell you guys, let me tell you one thing, the less the divs, the better your code is. All right, so if you are a senior developer, you would see that you would be writing very less HTML and creating the same design, whereas a newbie developer would take a lot of HTML to complete a design. So if you want to assess yourself based on the skills that you have, you can just look at your HTML and you will know how good of a front-end developer you are. So now let's move forward, and I'm going to give the class name as right bottom parent. It will have the same thing, and now we would give a nice div to it, and I'm going to give a class name of text white upper heading, and I'll give the flex row justify content center. All right, cool. And I'm gonna align item center as well. Align items center. So this will also center it vertically. All right. So that thing is there, and now I'm gonna give the span of output, and the class name that I'm gonna give is prompt. All right, cool. That's it. And now we would also need a submit button. So the class that I'm gonna give is the bootstrap class btn success btn sm, and I'm gonna give this thing as submit. Right, so if you can see, this thing is in the same thing, of course. So now let's move forward with it, and let's go down the left bottom part. Right, left bottom part would also be the same. You can just quickly forward the video. Of course, you would have the class name as left bottom parent. All right, so now I'm gonna give as one more div, class name as text white px 3 upper heading. I'm gonna give span prompt input. That is what we will be doing. Yeah. And I guess we're pretty much sorted with the the HTML part. Now from the next video, we'll be making the CSS for each and every section. So each and every section would have a different video. So see you all guys over there. Till then, goodbye and take care.